Everybody get your seats after you picked up your snack. All right, guys. So, you know my rule. My rule is that, I get it, you're in middle school. You're gonna write notes to each other. But all I ask is that you pass them in between classes and not in my class. And if I find a note on the floor, guess what? I'm gonna read it. I'll leave out the people's names. I'm so tired of you. You do so many things that make me angry and are not fair to me. You don't have any respect for me. You didn't give me a chance to say what I thought, and you are always deciding things for me. I'm breaking up with you because you were mean. I didn't like how you let your friends treat me, and you didn't stand up for me and my feelings. I hate how you want me to just do what you say. And I can't be with you. We are over. Which one of you wrote it? Of course none of you are going to stand up and say that you wrote it, because who wants to be the writer of a breakup letter? Who in here has ever received a breakup letter? Who's ever written a breakup letter? Okay, so what do good breakup letters have in them? They have reasons. They have what you think is unfair. They have your complaints. You know what it reminds me of, though? It kind of reminds me of the Declaration of Independence. Because what? It was a list of complaints, right? We've talked about it. We had all the acts that were instituted on the colonists. We had the intolerable acts that we studied because the colonists named them that because they thought they were what? Intolerable. So all of these reasons led up to the Declaration of Independence. When the colonists started their road to independence, at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, they didn't want independence from England. They just wanted to have what? Representation, right? They felt like all the rules were being made for them and they had no say in what was happening. So they wanted representation. After they got into the war, they decided, wait, why do we just want representation? Why don't we want freedom? And so that's when they decided to come up with the Declaration of Independence. But writing the Declaration of Independence wasn't an easy thing for them. The colonists felt like if they didn't write it, that they would never have a chance to secede from the motherland. But in the end, they were scared. They weren't excited about breaking up with England. They weren't, yippee, we're gonna break up, we're gonna write this breakup letter and it's gonna be amazing. No, they were afraid that if they lost the Revolutionary War, they'd be tried for treason because they would be traitors to their own country. So these men, the founding fathers, were very brave in putting their words on the table and just outlining reasons that they wanted to break up from England. So maybe what we should do is write a breakup letter. Maybe we should tell King George what we really think and how we feel like we've been treated wrongly. So if you were to be a colonist, why would you want to be free from England? What were your main reasons? And you can think about this for a second and think about the acts that were imposed on the colonists and what would give you the biggest hardship. We've talked about this, we've analyzed it, we've put it into modern language. Now it's your turn to really stand up for what you believe and what you think and break up with King George. Because he doesn't deserve you, right? He doesn't deserve you to be faithful to him when he's imposing all of these taxes and making all of these acts where you're having to house and feed all his military and they're getting paid. It's just, he is walking all over the colonists, and you have to now take the stand for yourself and stand up for what is right. You have to wonder, well, would my freedom be worth fighting for? Is it worth it? Or is it better to stay safe and not write a letter and not fight for your freedom? I want you to put the pen to the paper and come up with your list of grievances, because that's what the Declaration is. It's a list of grievances. They're outlined in the Declaration of Independence. We did a T-chart a couple days ago where we had the acts or the complaints or the grievances on one side, and then we transferred it into modern day language on the other side. I want you to write this breakup letter to make sure that you have a full comprehensive view of what the reasons were that the colonists wanted to break up with King George. The letter will be informal, but you should write it as what? One of those wealthy, white, rich men who were running our country. They had a very small view of the people around them and did not take into account everyone. So you pick a colonist. You can be a rich, white, wealthy man, or you can be a farmer down the road. Pick a person to be as you write your letter, and figure out, dig deep and see what really you're worth, what you want to fight for in the scheme of the Revolutionary War, and what is the most important to you. Remember, Ben Franklin, he said, we must indeed all hang together, or we shall hang separately. He knew that we had to come together as a group, as a new country, and stand up, because if we didn't, then we would never have any power or be strong. So, breakup letter. This is your assignment. You will write an informal letter to King George, citing at least 5 reasons that you want to break away from the motherland. In this assignment, you can use any sources that I've provided to you, any notes that you've taken, any kind of resources that we have in this classroom to learn more and dig deeper into the colonist's point of view. You have to make sure that you use the salutation and a closing, because while I know who you are and I know the point of it, King George doesn't. And you need to make sure that you identify yourself. I'm going to be handing out a rubric, and I need you to make sure that you check yourself on your rubric. And then also, when you write your letter, I want you to really think, and I want you to outline your reasoning and pay close attention to the order of events, because you want it to be logical and you want it to make sense. In a few minutes, we're going to look at some different letters, and I'm going to let you decide what's a good complaint letter and what's a bad complaint letter. And I want you to model what the good complaint letter is. You must have a salutation and a closing. You have to have at least 25 sentences, but you're in 7th grade. So I won't determine how many paragraphs you have to write. You know where a natural break is in a paragraph, and it's a letter. So forcing you into a 5-sentence, 5-paragraph letter is not going to make much sense. So you have to have at least 25 sentences in your letter. You will have some class time to work on this, but this will also have to be at homework, just so you're prepared. Now, if everybody will get their notes out for everything that we've done leading up to the Revolution and the Revolutionary War itself, and everything that we've done this week on the Declaration of Independence, and even, like we did, we analyzed the preamble. You're welcome to get all of that out, and then we will move on with writing our letter. I'm going to read this one to you first, and tell me if it convinces you of anything. Okay, dear sir or madam, I am writing today to complain of the poor service I received from your company on June 12th, 2016. I was visited by a representative of that awful company